Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Business Meets Fitness podcast with your host, Lauren Tickner. And in today's episode, we are diving deep into everything fitness coaching related. So if you are someone who is a fitness coach or who is wanting to become a fitness coach, this podcast today is for you. And I do have to say, something new that I've started doing with the Business Meets Fitness podcast is sending you a freebie to your email where I dive deep in something that we talk about on the podcast. And this freebie that's coming today is how to set up a challenge in order to get clients. So this is going to help anyone who's wanting to attract clients within the world of fitness and online coaching, and this is going to help you step up your game so that you can attract clients, get building up those testimonials, and of course growing your business and earning a decent income. And this freebie that I'm going to be delivering right to your email is going to take you to that next step really fast, and it's going to be information that you can implement right away. So make sure to head to the show notes in order to get that, and today's episode is really going to help you a lot. So if you're liking it at any point, please do share a screenshot and tag me at Lauren Tickner and at Business Meets Fitness. And we're going to get rolling into today's episode. Today I have a guest on called Brendan, who is from Canada, and he is a coach for fitness coaches, hence why we're talking all about how to set up your fitness coaching business and so many tips for fitness coaches and how to get started, how to scale your fitness business and all that. We dive in deep, and there's some real practical information that you can take away today. This episode is brought to you by my new course, the Impact Through Influence course. This course is a personal branding course, and it teaches you how to build your personal brand into a reputable and credible business that not only allows you to make an income now, but long into the future, and that will open up so many doors to you. It teaches you not only how to grow your social media following, but it also teaches you how to get a load of raving fans. It also teaches you how to do coaching. It teaches you how to do affiliate marketing. It teaches you how to get paid brand campaigns and so much more. If you want to see the full content list, there is a link in the show notes for you to see that. And then there's also a link for you to join the email list. And if you join the email list, you will get exclusive offers. And if you're listening to this before the very beginning of April 2018, then you will get $200 off the RRP, as well as a free productivity bolt-on course during the launch week. And if it is the week after the launch week, you will still get special offers emailed to you if you do end up joining the email list. So the link to join the email list, as I said, is in the show notes, and you can also see the full entire content list. And this content list and all the information inside the personal branding course is going to be perfect for anyone who wants to become an online fitness coach as well, because having a reputable and credible personal brand for an online fitness coach is super important. So anyway, let's get this episode rolling. Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to have you on. It's good to have a chat, because your captions on Instagram and all the message that you put out there is super inspiring. So I'm really excited for you to just give a dose of your inspiration and motivation and all of that to the listeners of the Business Meets Fitness podcast. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. So I just thought it would be great to just dive into everything that you've been doing recently, because I know you've been traveling, but do you just want to kind of give the listeners a little bit of a background about where you come from, where you're even from, and what it is that you do?
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on the podcast. So
of course,
I'll dive right into it. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I started online fitness coaching in June 2016.
Sure. I reckon there's a lot of fitness coaches listening to the podcast now, so this is going to be good information for them.
Yeah, I imagine that it's pretty popular now. So when I started online fitness coaching in June 2016, my business just grew really quickly. And then in June 2017, I started now mentoring other online fitness coaches on how to grow their business in the organic way that I did, without using like paid ads or any sort of traditional advertising.
Okay, that's good to know. So you've always been a fitness coach? Is that something that you've always been into, fitness?
No, I mean, in 2013 and 2014, I competed in men's physique, which most people don't even know because it's not part of my Instagram or anything.
It's very far from it now because I don't see too many kind of ab selfies on there.
No, there's like no fitness photos left. But yeah, I competed, and then I was obviously interested in the nutritional and training aspects of fitness, so I ended up starting coaching, and that's kind of how it went from there. But no, it wasn't something I was always into. I guess I was always into coaching, but not always fitness coaching, because when I was a teenager, I raced motocross, and I actually coached people in that sport as well in my last few years. So.
Sure. Okay. So you've always been good at teaching people. So, okay, let's backtrack a little bit more. So you grew up in Canada. Whereabouts in Canada was it?
Edmonton, Alberta.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think you're the first Canadian person I've ever had on the Business Meets Fitness podcast, you know. But anyway, Canadian people are all extremely friendly, by the way. So thanks for that.
Everyone tells me that, but I don't know.
I don't know, but it's then you come to London and then you'll realize that it's really true. So anyway, so you got started in fitness coaching. So, okay, you said that when you started, you attracted tons of clients really easily. Now, why do you think that was? Do you have any pieces of advice that you can give to any potential fitness coaches who are listening to this right now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends largely on who your ideal client is. But for me, the reason I think I attracted so many people is because all of my posts focused on how certain aspects of fitness and nutrition relate to your mental health or like your relationship with food. And I never, ever posted about like how to get bigger biceps or anything like that. It was always to do with like your mind and psychological aspects. And so I think especially my ideal client ended up being university age females with poor relationships with food, which obviously came to me based off of the content I was putting out. And yeah, I think like for me, if I was to give advice to every fitness coach, it would be to focus at least some of your attention on the mental transformation, because it, as you know, is so vital in actually achieving the physical transformation. So.
Oh yeah, I agree for sure. So you were posting content about the mindset towards it all rather than the actual kind of physical shape, and that's what helped you attract clients. And I think for everyone it's going to be different, you know. I don't think ever we should kind of bash anyone's motives for why they're doing what they're doing. However, I think that it's such a good point that kind of the whole mindset to it, a lot of people don't really think about. They'll say this is a fat loss plan that you can follow for 8 weeks, get results. And I think sometimes some people might not think about the mental health of it, and they'll just dish out their clients plans that are going to get, you know, good progress photos, because then they can use those progress photos to pull in new clients. But it's not always the best way to do things. So I'm guessing for you, you've kind of been working with people kind of like on a long-term basis.
Yeah, I worked with a lot of people who had previously done bikini or bodybuilding or physique shows.
Sure.
And we're just struggling to get back to, I guess, the overused word balance.
Yeah.
We all kind of search for. So that was who I worked with. And yeah, it was usually 6 months to a year.
Okay, yeah. And so one thing that I wanted to pick up on was, so you said you were posting content. Now, do you think somebody should think about what do you think they should think about first? Their ideal client, their ideal customer, or should they think about what content they're posting first? So what do you think? Yeah.
I think if your goal was to grow your business as fast as you could, I would say to think about your ideal client first.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think is just so you have something to focus on when you write posts or put out videos, so you always know who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only person you can work with, or that that's the person you're going to end up working with.
Forever.
Because sometimes when you speak to your ideal client repeatedly, the person that ends up actually being the most receptive to your content is not the one that you thought you were talking to. So like I had someone I worked with recently, a student who he thought he was speaking to people his age who are like mid-20s who are bodybuilders, and he ended up starting attracting a lot of firefighters and police officers.
That's interesting.
So he just switched his ideal client to being like first responders. So sometimes like the people that respond best to your content aren't necessarily the one that you originally aimed for.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a really, really good point because I think I always say to people, you know, when you're making posts, crafting posts, and this is something that I kind of teach in the new course that I'm bringing out, like all about personal branding, but it's all about knowing who your ideal client is and then creating your tone and creating all of your content to suit them and to actually be valuable to them so that they can use it, take it, and just kind of create a path for themselves, really. So what would you say are maybe the steps to finding your ideal client and knowing who it is that you should be centering your content all around? Because I think a lot of times people don't know how to find their niche and how to figure out who their client should be because, you know, the fitness industry is super saturated now and it's like you want to please everybody, but you and I both know that pleasing everybody is not the way to get the most business and to get kind of, you know, the best prices, really.
Yeah, no, it's true. If you market to everyone, you market to nobody.
Exactly.
So,
What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none.
exactly. I would say, I mean, obviously, like there's the basic, like what age do you want to work with, gender, their career, how much money they make, etc. But I think more importantly, people forget to like dive into where does this person hang out? So like, where could you find them online? Would they be on LinkedIn? Would they be the type of person that's on Instagram? And then where would you find them outside of the internet? Would they be at the tennis court if your ideal client is 18 to 21-year-old females who play tennis? And actually writing down that kind of stuff too, because the further you can dive into like who your ideal client is, then you can actually like sit down and journal as if you were that ideal client. And I feel like if you can journal as if you're them, it becomes really hard not to market to that person. Like you become really good at speaking to that person. But something else I wanted to touch on is that a lot of people, like especially ones that I work with, think that finding your ideal client is like the end all be all. It's so technical and they spend so much time saying like, I just can't figure it out. It's so hard. There's 6 different ideal clients I want to work with. And I think it's important to note that your ideal client can change throughout time. So if you have like 3 people, 3 different demographics that you know you'd be equally as happy with, then literally roll a dice and just choose one and start with it. If it works for you, cool. And if it doesn't, you can always transition later. But
Yeah, I agree so much. Oh, sorry, you go.
oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say I think it cripples a lot of people. The ideal
Exactly.
client.
And the whole crippling aspect means that, you know, if you are crippled and you're just paralyzed by all this choice of who you could possibly work with because you're such an awesome person that you can just get on with everyone and you can work with everyone, then you're missing out on so much time because the time between starting and actually choosing your ideal client, that could be about 4 months. That's 4 months of not only, you know, lost actual being able to help people, but it's lost money, lost testimonials when you could have just got started in the first place. So I think that, okay, let's think about some practical steps for people that are wanting to start maybe online coaching, online fitness coaching. So obviously step number 1, get your personal training qualification.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And my step number 2 would be to actually tell people that you're now an online coach.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of people struggle with the confidence to even like tell their following that they're taking on clients. And then my step number 3, which I think is, I just put it in my Facebook group, but I think it's so overlooked by almost everybody, is to hit your power base first. So I think everyone focuses on trying to market to strangers and they ignore all the people that they already have trust built with. So
okay, let's dive in deep on this because oh my gosh, yes, absolutely yes to what you're saying. Hit me.
Hit you. Okay, yeah. So power base is a concept that I actually picked up from Grant Cardone. So that's not my own thing, but
I love him.
Like anybody that's your neighbor, in your church, in your basketball team, your tennis club, whatever it is, anyone that even has a slight connection with you. So your employees, employers,
your WhatsApp chat with all your gals from school.
Yeah, literally anyone that's like, it doesn't even have to be someone you've talked to, but someone that was within a circle that you were in or within arm's reach. Because even though you may have never spoken to them before, if you're both interested in the same thing or both part of the same thing, there's going to be a level of trust there that is not there with a complete stranger on the internet. Mm-hmm. And selling those people on how great your services are is going to be like 100 times easier than selling a stranger, especially when you're brand new.
100%. Yep. I could not agree more. So it's like that close circle of people, and then straight outside them, I'd say is like people who engage with all your stuff on social media already, kind of like your fans. It's that whole concept of 1,000 true fans. And I mean, it doesn't even need to be 1,000, seriously.
No, especially now. Like, I mean, obviously everyone keeps raising their prices with online coaching right now, but 10 to 20 clients is a full-time job. And it's like, if you have 500 followers and you only need to convert 10 of them, it sounds a lot less intimidating. And you're like, I only need 10. And then if you factor in the fact that you still have your entire power base to go through, which most likely is over 100 people, you might even get your first 10 just from your power base.
It could even be your mom or dad, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, family members. Yeah, no, seriously. And then like, if you can get your first 5 to 10 clients from your power base, then you can get some transformations going and testimonials and really get the ball rolling online. So.
Yeah, because these people will want to help you. They'll want to support you because, you know, they know you. They obviously may not even necessarily know you well, but it could even be your best friend, and that person's going to want to support you, going to want to help you. Okay, so that was step number 3. What's step number 4 when it comes to setting up your PT business? What would you say after you've got these power-based people, you've touched base with them, you've got a few clients? What's next?
There's so many I could say for step 4. I guess, like we said, if the step 4 for you is still getting more clients, if you didn't have enough, then I would say, like you said, anyone who likes, comments, shares any of your content is someone who's already interested in what you're doing. So that's an immediate prospect.
Wait. We forgot one thing. Posting content.
Yeah, posting content. Of course. Sorry.
I skipped
the whole thing.
Yeah, how did we forget?
I just assumed people posted content, but you're right. It is something that a lot of people still don't do. So even when some people join my program to become an online coach, they have been making like 1 post a month for the last while. And yeah, you're right. That's a step that I shouldn't have skipped. But we do have to post content and post it consistently. So interestingly enough, when I grew my online coaching company, Brains for Brawn, I only posted 3 times a week. And that was my thing. That was just like 3 long posts per week, and that was it. And I never changed it. And it worked for me.
The golden days.
But I don't recommend it for anybody.
Oh, no.
I really don't. I don't know how it worked or why it worked at that point. It could have been like an algorithm change or whatever, but it worked for me. Now I post like 6 times a week. So I don't recommend taking the 3 times per week route, but
no, it's very overly saturated now. So this is the thing on social media. You need to find a way to stand out and to appeal to your target audience in a way that makes you more appealing than someone who's perhaps a little bit similar to you, or maybe does similar content to you, or maybe is trying to also appeal to you, but you need to appeal to them better.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it is getting harder and harder. There is like people that like were never into fitness in their lives are into fitness right now. So it's a good thing in the way that like I think the earth is getting a little healthier, hopefully. Well. But yes, there is definitely a lot of fitness coaches and stuff like that. But I do like, people always are like, oh yeah, there's so many fitness coaches, it's so saturated, I'll never be able to succeed. But my view on it is like, there's still probably 1/100th the amount of fitness coaches that there is plumbers or nurses or doctors or whatever, and they still find work. So as far as I'm concerned, like online fitness coaching is probably one of the best careers going forward, because your ideal client, or not your ideal client, but your potential client is almost every single human being that's walking, because almost anyone has a health or fitness goal.
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely. And I think especially kind of as you were saying, like the world's getting healthier, it is getting healthier, but it's getting healthier because it's getting unhealthier. Everyone has to kind of balance out the damage that they've done. And people are becoming more open to learning about fitness, learning about health. More people are getting into the gym, which is crazy. My dad even comes to the gym with me now once a week, which is just something that I never thought would happen. But it's because people are realizing how important it is to live a healthy and active lifestyle. And so now is the time. And this is happening at the same time that social media is rising. And at the same time where you can literally advertise yourself for free online. And so I think so many people are so scared to start posting content, but you know just as much as I do how important it is now. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is a tough thing to get over. And when I started coaching, there was like local people who gave me a really hard time on my posts, and with every post, it would be like consistently annoying stuff would pop up. I don't want to say haters because I don't really like that word, but like, I guess critics we'll go with.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess you get to a point, or at least I did, where you just realize that for the amount of haters the amount of haters you have, we'll go with that, it doesn't even come close to the amount of people that you're helping with your content.
Definitely.
So that was for me. I was just like, hey, well, if this upsets 3 people but makes 55 people happy, then I'm going to keep doing it, because you're still doing a service.
Yeah, for sure. I think something that I always say is like, you know, if you're withholding something that could be of value to even one person, then it's a disservice not sharing it.
Yeah, it's unethical almost.
For sure. I know, but genuinely it's true. Okay, awesome. So yeah, like I think the whole content thing is a massive hurdle that can hold so many people back. So did you ever kind of, you were saying you had a few critics, but is there anything that you would perhaps advise to the listeners in how they can be more confident with it, really?
Honestly, I don't know what I would say as far as like being more confident with it, because for me, it kind of just came like progressively. Like I wasn't, things I say now, I wouldn't have said when I started.
Yes.
Because I would have been more worried about any lashback, but now I'm more comfortable with it. And when someone does insult me, I just try to imagine them as like a child, because literally, because say you're like in the supermarket and a little 6-year-old tells you your pants are ugly, like it doesn't offend you. You're just like, oh, that's funny. And so I try to like think of people insulting me as like children. And then I don't find it as insulting.
Yeah. That, I mean, valid, because a lot of times they are kind of people with like an anonymous profile picture. But even if it's someone, you know, even if it's coming from somebody who maybe, I don't know, you might be a bit intimidated by because they have like 10,000 followers on social media. You know what? If they're calling you out publicly, if I'm perfectly honest, like I think when someone calls someone out publicly, like it's just unprofessional, and it says a lot more about them than it does you. Like if I was to ever, you know, have an issue with someone's content, thinking that they were maybe sharing something that wasn't correct, I just send them a nice direct message. So yeah, that's just my advice.
Yeah, no, I find it super unprofessional as well. But like you were saying, is like, if they noticed you enough to actually make a public post about you, like, you're probably doing something right with your content, and at least it's getting seen by people.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, maybe if they're trying to take you down on your story, on their story, well, it's free publicity.
Yeah, I mean, people say no publicity is bad publicity, but it's true. Like if someone posts you, and even if it's a bunch of hate, when their followers go to check you out, if you're actually like a good person and you post a lot of great content, you're going to win a lot of those people over.
Exactly. And the people who listen to the Business Meets Fitness podcast are great people. So they have nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing. Okay, cool. So now I think something that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to online coaching is scaling. Because, you know, scaling your fitness, it's kind of scary. Like let's say you've had these 10 clients for like a while. You've managed to, you know, bring 10 clients in, and then maybe, you know, you don't want to increase the prices that you're telling them because you love these people, they've become friends, you've had your weekly check-ins. How do you go about scaling?
So, I mean, obviously it is scary to raise your prices with people that you're already working with, but I do actually recommend my students do that when they get to a point where they feel comfortable in the value of their program. And the reason being is like, I feel that if your clients, if you've been delivering an awesome service and they're happy with it, they're going to be more than happy to pay you a little bit more for what you're doing. And I've never had an issue with it. But as far as like scaling from 10 clients, so like you're saying, if you want to get more clients, but you don't have more time, what would you do? So
okay, hang on. let's get into this in like 10 minutes because I want to talk about something first that I think is going to be really valuable for the listeners to listen to first. Let's talk all about the actual setup of the online fitness business because, you know, you hear these horror stories, and I used to hear them more back in the day. I think people have kind of got better now. And I also mainly used to hear them in the world of online coaching for bodybuilders. But cookie cutter plans, no. But okay, here's what I used to do when I used to do online coaching. And I still do a little bit of online coaching. My boyfriend and I do it together because he's a nutritionist. So we do a little bit, but not too much. I only have like I've got 3 clients. I used to have 4, just got 3 now. But it's you know, if anyone's interested in a little bit of online coaching, I wouldn't say no. We do it together. Anyway, what we do is like we'll have a spreadsheet. We get them to fill out all these questions every single week. Now, you know, I do this in a very personalized way, and their training is super personal to them, their goals, their current, like all this different stuff. I'm not even going to get into it now because I want you to do the talking about how you would advise people set up their online coaching. And also another thing is like their nutrition, because obviously a lot of people won't also be qualified nutritionists. And that was an issue that I struggled with before because I was a bit like, I don't know how in deep I can go here. So yeah.
Okay. So as far as the nutritionist thing goes, we'll start there first. I don't think necessarily, I guess it depends on who your ideal client is.
Yep.
I don't think you have to be like a nutritionist.
No, I don't. Yeah, I agree.
Be a great fitness coach. But I do think that you should probably take some sort of certification, only because I know that you can self-educate yourself to be smart enough without taking a program. But the only issue with that is you have to also have the initiative to know where to look.
Yes.
And to continuously be looking. Whereas if you just take a program, all the information's packed together for you, so you're not searching the internet to find it. I took Precision Nutrition. A ton of people I know really enjoy that program. But I do think, yes, if you haven't gone to university for it, you should take some program that's at least a basic review of physiology. So you're not just searching the internet randomly, hoping you come across the right info.
And not those $20 nutrition programs, because let's be real, you are not going to get good information inside of that.
Yeah, definitely not. And then what was your first question?
Okay, so I was pretty much, I know I rambled on for a bit there. I'm sorry about it. I was pretty much saying like the whole setup of your online coaching practice. So kind of the information that you're going to be asking your clients to fill out every week and that type of thing, and kind of going about, you know, setting a training program or whatever.
Okay, so this is something that I actually like kind of leave individual to my students. And so as far as like whether you want to be super customized or you want to be cookie cutter, we'll call it, I don't think there's any shame in doing the latter as long as you're open about it. So like say like the guide, like everyone knows that a $40 guide is the same one that every single person's getting. And I think that's totally cool.
Unless it's the Strength Feed training guide, which is customizable.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like, as long as you're not marketing it.
Yes, exactly. And the price.
Fully customized. But yeah, you can go both ways. And I usually have my students kind of make a value ladder of 3 or 4 different services. So they have a more high ticket option that's extremely customized with a lot of involvement, and it's time intensive. So whether it be like a check-in every week, a phone call every month, whatever it is, they have their high ticket option for people that can afford that and want like the most comprehensive service. And then usually a middle rung in the ladder, which will be similar to the high ticket, but maybe just less involvement. So maybe like a check-in every second week, something like that. And then the lower rung, which to me would be whether it be like 8 weeks to abs or whatever, a bigger bicep manual, just some sort of thing that if someone inquires with you and they cannot afford your first 2 services, but they do still really want to work with you and they want to support you and you still want to help them in some way, you still have a way to provide them value without just saying, sorry, my prices are too expensive kind of thing.
I seriously, like, I could not agree with you more. Of having a value ladder is honestly one of the most fundamental things when it comes to online business. Like, seriously. And not only that, you said, you know, they might not be able to afford your higher ticket item. Well, here's the beauty of it. You might get someone in and they might go in on your lower ticket item. Let's just take me for an example. They might buy the Strength Feed training guide. This is the low ticket item training guide. And then I might start advertising online fitness coaching. I might do a challenge. So I might do a 12-week long challenge, which costs, I don't know, let's just say it costs £200, $200. And then they might love that so much and, you know, buy that because they've like seen the value of the Strength Feed training guide. So then they want to move on to the next thing on the value ladder because they've seen the value of the low ticket item. So the value of the middle ticket item must be, you know, absolutely amazing, and they're going to love that even more. And then if they end up loving that so much, then they might want to move on to one-on-one coaching with me. And, you know, you can just build people through your funnel, as it were, and moving up your ladder over time. And as long as you're providing and going over and above, people will do that. And something that I've become extremely fascinated by recently, because I've been reading a book called The 80-20 Principle by Perry Marshall. Have you read it?
I have not. No.
Okay, I seriously recommend it. It's a very common principle. It's all about the Pareto principle, which is like 80% of your kind of, let's just say output comes from 20% of your input. So like, you know, 80% of the success you get comes from 20% of the work that you put in. And it's kind of like 80% of the money that you earn comes from just 20% of the clients that you'll ever have. And it's all about kind of really going and providing to that inner circle of people like that love you, really. And so yeah, I just had to bring that up because I've become so interested by it recently.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, like you said, and a Grant Cardone thing is he says second money is always easier than first money.
Yes.
And what he means is like when someone buys something, so if it's like your Strength Feed program, and then like you said, they see all this value, they're like, wow, well, her next item, the next most expensive thing must have an insane amount of value.
Exactly.
Which is why I like to think of our free content, like our Instagram, Facebook, whatever, as the base of the ladder.
Yes.
Because if you're providing a lot of value there, that's what's going to have people go like, wow, she gives this much for free. Imagine if I paid her, like what I would get.
Exactly. No, that's it. And it's like a lot of times people are afraid to hold back on their free content, but you know, seriously don't be, because if you're providing so much free content, a lot of times when it comes to online coaching especially, the main thing people want is accountability.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, yeah, especially like a lot of the listeners who aren't coaches yet, when you do get into coaching, you'll realize that a lot of people hiring you are kind of hiring you just because they need someone to talk to.
Yeah, definitely.
To like keep them accountable to go to the gym and actually eat their meals. They know they need to eat less cake and all that stuff, but having someone to listen and having someone to actually be there to be like, at the end of the week, they can say like, I did this, I did this, I did this. It makes all the difference. And for me, even now, hiring business coaches for myself, that's essentially what I'm doing, is having someone say, okay, I need you to do this and this. And then it's easier for me to get it done because I know that at the end of the month or whenever I speak to them next, they're going to expect that I would have finished it.
Yeah. No, seriously, like so much truth there, so much truth. And then I think it also kind of comes down to the thing about, you see sometimes like people are like, if you're a fitness coach and you're a qualified personal trainer, why do you have a coach as well? And I don't actually have a coach myself right now at this stage of my life, but I'm not gonna lie, like seriously, I am a lot better at staying kind of, you know, I'm a lot better at staying on track with my training when someone else is doing it for me. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same way, whether it be with when I was in fitness or business stuff now. Like when I was a fitness coach, I still had a fitness coach, because when I write my own programs, I end up not sticking to it the same. I'll like see that I have ab training at the end of the day and I'll just be like, no, I'll skip that this time. But if someone else put it there, then for whatever reason, I just feel like I need to do it.
Yeah, you kind of feel obliged to them and you don't want to let them down. And also kind of like if you're paying money towards it, it makes you just want to stick to it a little bit harder. That's my opinion with a lot of things, whether it's kind of like whether I'm enrolling in a course or I have a coach and paying them. It's like if there's that monetary commitment, it kind of makes you just want to stick to it that little bit more.
No, it's true. Like you could give out some super awesome info for free and then give out the same info, exact same, wrapped up in a $200 course.
Yeah.
And the $200 course would get people better results.
Right. It's so true. It is so true. Okay, now how about we can go back to this whole scaling aspect. So scaling in both like getting new clients, but also scaling the business kind of to bring in more money, all that type of stuff.
So, I mean, I think a huge one, which I know people don't like to talk about, well, they do like to talk about it, but is pricing, because no one knows what to charge, and I think more people are just worried about what everyone else is charging.
Yep.
Rather than what they think they should charge. So this is a tough one to talk about because I think that it is entirely up to you. And I know even saying that people are like, hey, but where do I start? And I spoke about this recently. I don't know if you want me to throw an actual dollar value of where I think people should start with their coaching package.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might disagree with me, but hear me out. So I think that at least the way over in Canada, I would start with a $900 for 12 weeks training and nutrition if you're brand new. And the reason I chose $900 is because there's a lot of business coaches preaching that you have to start at $1,500 USD or even higher and stuff like that. And the reason I chose $9 is because it's enough money that you could still live if you get a few clients.
Yeah.
So you're making enough. It's enough money that the investment your clients make is going to garner their adherence. So they're actually going to stick to the program. But it's also low enough that your conversion rate should still be pretty high.
I just for the listeners, just quickly, you mean 900 Canadian dollars or 900 US dollars?
Well, either one. I tell people to just do whatever one country they're in.
Okay, so 900 Canadian dollars for any English listeners out there is around £500. So I just had to quickly slip that in.
Yeah, normally our dollar is a little stronger, but right now it's brutal. So a Canadian dollar is like weak. Yeah, it's weak right now.
So is the pound. They're struggling together.
Oh, perfect. Okay, we're struggling together. But yeah, so I think that's where I would start. And from there, like, it's entirely up to you. And I don't know why, but people get really scared to raise their prices. But I think you have to look at any other industry and realize that, like, Louis Vuitton doesn't price match with Walmart. And it's not because Walmart couldn't charge that amount or whatever, but it's because they've chosen their demographic and they've stuck with it. And there's no reason that you as a coach can't do the exact same thing. And like Ferrari and Toyota or whatever. If you want to be the one that charges a lot and has a smaller audience who can afford you, that's totally cool. But I think when you're starting, it should be around that mark because you need the higher conversion rate so you can build up some testimonials and some transformations so you can build your credibility to then further your business. So I do work with a lot of people who have been through other coaching programs, I guess, or mentorship programs, and their base price they're supposed to charge is $1,500 USD for 12 weeks. And they just have a really hard time selling that package when you're a brand new coach, you have no transformations in a portfolio, you can't give anyone any previous clients to talk to. So your credibility in the eyes of a stranger is like very low.
Yeah, that's $125 per week. That's a lot of money. That's a lot. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's a lot of,
there's definitely people that charge more than that. Definitely.
Yeah. No, I mean, for sure. Like, I think when you're first starting out, that's an insane amount of money. Even kind of at this stage, I don't know. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, I just have a quick question for you. When people are very first starting out, let's just say they just made an Instagram page. Their name is now Lauren Fitness because they made a new Instagram. And by the way, I've still got that username for anyone who wants it. you can buy it for 100 grand. But anyway, so would you advise, they've just got their personal training qualification, they've never worked in a gym, they have no experience. Would you ever advise anybody to do it for free?
The only time. I wouldn't necessarily advise someone do one-on-one coaching for free.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've gone through your entire power base and you can't get anyone, you swear you can't get anyone in the whole power base, and no one's organically reaching out to you through your DMs, because chances are you have like 100 followers, I would run a free challenge. So whether it be like a 7-day or a 14-day, I would make it a shorter challenge. And then you can try and get your power base as well as maybe some of your followers in there. And in that challenge, you're going to dump as much value as you possibly can. And at the end, then you can try to pitch them into maybe a lower or medium run service to try and convert some of them. Because like we noted, if your value is super high in your free challenge, they're going to be more willing to pay you for actual comprehensive coaching.
Yeah. No, I seriously, amazing. No, that's a lot of good information there. So when someone's first kind of tapping into the whole fitness coaching and like they've obviously started all their content, they're developing everything, how do you think they should continually educate themselves? What is your kind of go-to for that?
Well, now I guess it's a tough question for me to answer because I don't continuously educate myself as a fitness coach anymore, because I don't coach anymore. But I guess for me, I continuously hire mentors. So that would be a little different as a fitness coach, whereas you probably want to spend more time on certain podcasts and blogs, and whether it be like the mass review that comes out.
This is like the type of thing. Yeah. Because like I was going to say people like Alan Aragon, kind of like Brett Contreras, and just all the people like 3DMJ, like all these people are providing so much good information. And so people need to make sure that they're following that type of person rather than people that is kind of spouting out bro science.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting a lot better now as far as like the amount of, or I guess the bar where it's set for how much knowledge a person should have.
Yeah.
And like people are pretty aware now that a lot of coaches are taking all their information from like PhDs and from PubMed and whatever. So I think there's a lot less bro science now, but you definitely should be following some actual credible resources. And like, I think the mass review is a good place to start, or like you said, 3DMJ, Alan Aragon, Eric Helms. I mean, he's 3DMJ, but
yeah. And he also does mass, doesn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's in mass as well. Yeah.
He's monopolizing the space.
He's in everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's a great guy. Jeff Nippard's also got a great YouTube channel for anyone who doesn't watch it. But then also kind of just like reading, for example, even just reading your Instagram captions, they're like super inspiring. And it also depends, I guess, on like who your target audience is, because you want to be following people who are speaking the language that your target audience will be speaking, because sometimes like for mass and that type of thing, a lot of that information is only really going to be relevant if you're coaching kind of for more higher level people, I suppose.
Yes, I'm so happy you touched on this. Okay, so because obviously I kind of built both my companies through writing, we'll say, because I think my copywriting is what sells my service.
Yeah.
And what I always tell people when I'm talking about copywriting, or whether it be speaking, you're at a speaking event, is to only use the tools that your audience has.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because like people start reading things like PubMed and they're reading research data, and they start to talk like that without realizing that the more big words they use and stuff that the population can't understand, they're shrinking the people they're speaking to.
Yeah, they're totally alienating their audience.
Exactly, yeah. They just make their ideal client now as small as possible, which is fine if that's the ideal client you're going for. But when you're brand new, I think your best bet is to use language and speak in a way that a 10-year-old could understand everything you're saying.
Yeah, I agree so much. I actually was such a victim of doing this because I'm like a massive nerd and I love science and all that. And, I would be reading all these crazy like scientific meta frigging analyses, and I was like, you know, starting to use all this scientific language, but no one had a clue what the hell I was on about, because the people that, you know, actually wanted coaching from me were like university females, and they were studying like business. They were not studying science, so they didn't really know what I was talking about. And so that kind of, when I started to see bigger growth kind of for my fitness, just my fitness, the fitness side of my personal brand, it became when I started appealing to kind of, you know, more general population and using words that they could understand.
Yeah, I think even like as we self-educate and we progress through our business, we get smarter and smarter, and we kind of subconsciously assume that our audience already knows everything that we've spoken about or that we know. And so we keep talking about more complex ideas, and they're still beginners. And I think that a lot of people forget that if you went out right now and made a post about the fact that you can still eat carbs after 6 p.m., you would still get a response of people that were mind blown. So
that's
we like,
very true.
Yeah, like we start to think that our audience knows everything we know. So we keep just pushing this new higher content and forget that most of our audience is still complete beginners.
Yeah, so much truth, so much truth. And I think that has been just awesome information. So do you want to just talk a little bit about what exactly it is that your whole laptop, it's not laptop lifestyle, it's laptop warriors, sorry, forgive me.
That's totally cool. I've actually been trying to change the name, but I just can't think of anything that works for me. So
well, what is it? Come on, tell the listeners. I know what it is, but they don't.
Okay, so I run an 8-week program where online fitness coaches or personal trainers who want to become online fitness coaches come into the program, and I help them scale their business from ground zero to fully operational. And then I have a live event at the end, and we all have fun. It's pretty
awesome.
wicked.
That's cool. So how often do you do intakes for that?
At this point, 4 times a year. So right now, my current program started 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And the next one starts in June. There's no specific start date yet, but it will be in June. And yeah, it's 8 weeks in length, and we do a module every single weekend. It's super. Honestly, I'm really proud of it. It has been so badass. And like we've already done 3 run-throughs of the class. And so now I've coached probably like, I guess 80 people or so, or 90. And I surpassed my own expectations as far as like most of the students that I'm working with have, I guess it's not all about money, but have made more money or succeeded faster, we'll use that, than I did when I started online coaching.
Amazing.
Which, I mean, it makes sense. When I started, I was kind of winging it. So I didn't have a mentor. But
yeah, for sure. Well, that's what it's all about, is like providing a shortcut to the outcome that they want to achieve. That's the whole point of like having a program, really, isn't it? So yeah,
and just like provide clarity, because I think when a lot of people try to start a business, they're like just clouded with, do I need a logo? Do I need a website? Which payment platform do I use? How do I create an application? What happens when tax time comes? Am I going to go to jail because I didn't? So like, there's just so many things to think about that people get really confused, and it can be laid out in a much simpler way if someone's already been there and done that.
Definitely. So is this program kind of more for Canadian people, would you say?
No, I actually have students from everywhere. So my last live event, even I had people fly from Australia.
No way. That's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. Amazing. That's exciting. Yeah, because I think that obviously you've scaled a fitness business, and now you're scaling a business that teaches people how to do the old fitness business that you used to be doing. And so it's really cool to kind of see that you've kind of gone through all the fitness coaching, and now you're doing what you're doing now. And so how has that evolution of business kind of, how come you realized that you wanted to teach other people to do the whole fitness business?
Well, I guess because my fitness business grew so quickly, I didn't actually know that it was that impressive till I was in Los Angeles in like April of 2017.
Yeah.
I believe. And I was actually hanging out with Amanda Bucci, who's a close friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about my business a bit, and she was like, that is just ridiculous. Like, that's insane. So then she had me on her podcast, and then I spoke at an event, and it just kind of like went from there, where people were like, how did you grow it that big, that fast, without using any paid ads or funnels or an email list or anything? I didn't have anything. So it was all organic through Instagram and Facebook posts. And I think that was the reason that it was so, or considered so unique, was just that I had like no marketing capital.
That's amazing though, and it's really cool how you can now teach people to do the same thing. So yeah, I think that we've given the listeners so much value here. So thank you so much for coming on today. And is there any last remarks you would like to leave for anyone?
Honestly, I just really appreciate you having me on the podcast, and I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate everyone listening. But I don't have anything last remarks for people, I guess. I don't know. Like, I just think that, like, I guess my best advice would be that if you're starting your online coaching company, or it's something you want to do, your best thing to do right now is just tell people that you're taking clients. So like today, like just tell people in a post. I promise you won't get lashback, and you'll get some serious support from people that you did not expect.
Yeah, so much truth. And once you've done it, and once you've made the post, I want all the listeners to take a screenshot of your post, share it on your Instagram story, and tag both of us, because we want to see it, and we'll be replying to all of them, won't we?
I will, yeah. I would be really pumped to see that.
Yeah, so, it would be amazing if this podcast can kind of inspire you to actually start. And so I'll be leaving all of the links to all of your social media and all that in the description, because otherwise it's just, when you try and say it and try and spell it, everyone's always like, what? So it's easier if I just leave the link.
Cool. Yeah, right. Everyone calls me Brendant, because my Instagram.
Oh yeah.
It's like Brendan. My Instagram's Brendan T. Lund, because the guy who owns Brendan Lund won't sell me it. It's me. But it's Brendan T. Lund, and I always get DMs like, hey, Brendant, I really like your post. And I don't even correct them. I'm just like, thank you.
Yeah, they must think you're French, because like French people's names always end with a T. Like Laurent. I don't know.
Laurent.
Well, yeah. Okay. What's your middle name? Let me guess. Thomas?
It is Thomas.
Is it? Oh,
how'd you guess that?
I don't know. It's like the only boy's name that begins with T, I swear. Unless it was Timothy. I don't know. It was just a wild guess.
Cool. All right.
Right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, listeners. I hope you have enjoyed this interview. So that is that for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it, and remember to claim your freebie. Just head to the show notes now and it will get sent directly to your email list. We spoke about challenges in the podcast, but there's a full step-by-step plan and a PDF that will get emailed directly to you if you make sure that you fill in that form. And remember, if you're interested in Impact Through Influence, the personal branding course, it is not too late if you're listening to this before April 2018 to sign up to get $200 off, as well as the free productivity bolt-on course. And you know what I'm going to do for anybody who is listening to the Business Meets Fitness podcast and wants to enroll if the date is after April of 2018 and you've missed the launch week, then just send me an email, lauren@strengthfeed.com, and I will sort it out so that you can get the productivity bolt-on course for free. Because if you're listening to this podcast, we all know that you are interested in being productive because you're into business, you're into fitness, and I just want to make it so that you can have that. So just send me an email if you are listening to this after the launch week, and I'll sort that out for you, because I am too good to you. I'm giving you 2 freebies in today's episode. So anyway, thanks again for listening. Remember to please leave me a review. It takes 5 seconds, and if you're listening on the iTunes podcast app, all you do is scroll to the bottom of the Business Meets Fitness page, and you'll see you have the opportunity to choose a star rating and also write a review. And if you'd be able to take 10 seconds out of your day just to write a quick review, a couple of sentences, maybe even 3 sentences if you're feeling kind, just because I love obviously producing this free content for you. So if you'd be able to leave me the free review in return, then I would seriously appreciate it. Anyway, have a lovely day and remember to smile.